Scarlet. There it is. Testing, testing, testing. All right, now I got audio. Cool. Let's make sure. It's probably going to be a bad delay. Oh my goodness. All right, cool. Yeah. All right, cool. Want to make sure audio is working. Let's tone that back. It's a little bit loud, I think. All right, cool, cool. All right. Awesome. Thanks, Jason. What's going on, man? Welcome to the stream. What is going on, Mr. Eddie Nunez? Good to see you, sir. Just give it a little bit here. Let the stream buffer up. Trying to stream again with the StreamYard, and it's pretty impressive. I like that there's really no hassle to any of this. Just open it up and start streaming. It's pretty cool. What's that do? Oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's sort of neat. What's going on above and beyond drones? How are you this evening? Good to see you, sir. Let that buffer down. Not much, man. Not much. Figure I hop on here, do a live stream. It's been a little bit. What's going on, Steve? Good to see you, man. Yeah, just figured I'd hop on, do a little bit of a live stream for a little while. I've been working on a video today, so I haven't had a lot of time to produce any regular content. But it's been a little while. I think the last stream I went and did, I just went and deleted it. It was probably not a good idea. You're in Punta Cana, man. I bet you it's beautiful there. I hope you're getting some awesome content while you're there. What's going on, Fly Right? Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by. Somewhere down the road, Terry. Nice to see you, sir. A lot of new faces. Pretty cool. So, all right. Let me mute my other stream now that I know my audio is working because I can hear like a delay. Yeah, no rain. I didn't have any rain here today. We actually got a lot of commercial gigs done, so I'm pretty excited about that. I was a little nervous that we were going to actually have problems because of rain, but honestly, no rain. I'm actually sort of shocked. I'm sort of excited about this. It's a good thing. Yeah, I'm charging up too. I'm charging the smart controller right now. I put this on the charger. What was it? 3 o'clock? What time is it now? It's 10:30. I put this on the charger at 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it's only at, you can see, it's only at 3 dots. That's insane. And I'm charging it with an 87 watt MacBook charger, and it's only at 3 dots. This thing takes forever to charge. This is like, if I had to say I have a new gripe about the smart controller, it's going to be how long it takes to charge. That's insane. Almost wish you can like set this down and just charge it with wireless charging, because I always forget to charge this. And finally today it sort of bit me in the butt. But yeah, that is the worst, that this thing takes forever to charge. So I would totally encourage anybody who has a smart controller to be charging this when you're not using it, because when you need it the most, just trickle charging it is not going to work. It takes way longer than that, which sort of stinks. How is that mod, Eddie? I saw you install that. I don't want to install anything like this, because then I feel like I tamper my portability factor. I put this in my my Peak Design bag and I slide it right on top of my Mavic. So for me, this is like perfect. So I don't have to worry about anything else, and it's somewhat thin. I like it. I still have not warranted this out. I still have that screen popping sound over here, and I still haven't warranted it out. I can't afford to let them have it for 2 weeks, because chances are I'll probably get something back that's worse, I bet. What's going on, Steve? Steve and Steve. 2 Steves. Your smart controller charges quick? Huh. I wonder, maybe it's just mine. Are you using the charger that came with the smart controller? Maybe that's my problem. Maybe I'm using the smart controller. I'm using something that isn't meant for the smart controller, and that's like going into a safe mode. I don't know. I just think it charges really slow. Hello, Brett. Nice to meet you, Brent. Or nice to see you, I should say. We've met before. Weird, man. I guess I probably should warranty it out. I still need to get another controller. I need a backup. I don't have a backup currently right now, and that's sort of making me a little leery, because if the smart controller goes down, I am totally screwed as far as the Mavics go. So I'm making it a point to get the smart controller. Another controller. I don't need a second smart controller. Definitely don't need a second controller. I just need a smart controller. What's going on, Dan? Good to see you, man. Glad to see you're doing well out of the doctor. Dan worship in his dinghy. Hello, Andrew. Nice to see you this evening. I'm sure it's probably like what morning where you guys are. Down under. Regular takes forever to charge. AC block charges fast. What do I got this charge plugging into? Man, I got it on a MacBook charger. It should charge faster than this. My thought, oh shit, did I break that? My thought is it should be charged by morning. If it's charged by morning, I'm totally okay with that. It just, when it takes forever like this, it does put me behind. Today, I thought it was going to die. I was at 15% when I landed. So I'm just glad I didn't have any other houses to shoot today, because otherwise I would have been totally screwed. But I'll charge it. I'll try to just be mindful of that. How's it going, Arco? Yeah, AC block too. Yeah, I'll have to give that a go. Lumix G9 or RX? I'm a Sony fanboy, so I'm not really a big fan of Panasonic, and the G9, like, just Panasonic has terrible autofocus. So I would probably lean more towards the RX, to be honest with you. The RX 100 is probably going to be the better move, especially the RX 107. It's just really fast autofocus, and they've done a good job with that 4K recording. You can hit a whole 30 minutes without it overheating. I don't know. I'm just not a fan of Panasonic whatsoever at all. But again, like I said, I am sort of biased because I'm a Sony fanboy. Let's see. 2TB55s charging brick. Gets hot for sure. I bet. We just shipped some today, and there was 4 of them, and we did a test charge on them. They got really hot really quickly. So I can totally believe that. Lunchtime. Nice, man. Yeah, it's Ron, you're right. It's almost hard to get a bad camera at all nowadays. It really, really is. I think for the most part, we've reached sort of that pinnacle of camera performance. I mean, of course, you can get some lower end cameras and it's going to be a really bad image. But I'm looking at all these point and shoots that people are buying now, and I'm like, wow, these things look really, really good. And they just take fantastic images no matter like what situation you put them in. Low light could always be better, but for the most part, I think most cameras are really, really good. Yeah, it's funny. When I came back from travel, I usually I sync all my files back up, and I noticed my upload speeds and download speeds were like capped at 30. I'm like, what's going on? So I had to disconnect my router, and then all of a sudden everything came right back. So my internet's been really jacked all week. What's going on, David Smith? Nice to see you this evening. Hello, Chris Hope. Anybody I miss? AZRG. It's so funny. Every time I see somebody's name, it's like not really their name. It's just like, I'm going to call you AZ. That's what I'm going to call you. Danny F. watching. I'll make sure I sing my praises to the Evo, I'm sure. Maybe he's moved on at this point. I don't know. You never can tell. Let's get caught up on the chat here. Looking through. I'm sorry to hear that, Steve. I know that's got to be rough, man. So my regards. Ron never settled Android issue DJI. RTMP. Brown even went to Slack groups. Above and beyond, what sort of issue are you having? You having a problem with Android or something? Trying to get caught up on this chat. Chat's moving fast for some reason. Some reason it's delayed on StreamYards, like by a half a second. Yeah, literally by half a second, it's delayed. So I guess I'll have to keep both windows open. Hola, amigos. What's going on, Black Ops? Good to see you tonight, man. A lot of people are seemingly home on Friday. Maybe Friday nights are good. I was going to do Friday nights as a stream consistently, and then I stopped because streaming sometimes is a bit cumbersome, and I always have technical difficulties. But I think with StreamYards, I will continue to stream maybe on Fridays, do something like this regularly. Maybe open it up, do like a Q&A or something like that. It's easier to do it live. because sometimes I'll ask questions on the community tab and then I never actually film the video because something else supersedes it. That's like what happens 90% of the time. Yeah, I did get an email, Steve. Whoa, thank you, Dan. You didn't have to do that. Thank you very much, man. I love coffee. I literally live on coffee. Yeah, Steve, I actually did. I first, anytime I get an email from the FAA, whether it's from, if it's just like a mail or something, I always stop. I'm like, crap, I'm in trouble. Like that's my first thought every time I get an email from the FAA. But I actually stopped and read this one, and I think a lot of those videos and photos from like 4th of July are gaining traction, and the FAA just wants to reaffirm that, hey, don't attach weapons or items that are projectables to your drone, which is so stupid. Every time I see something like that, I'm always like, man, this is just not going to end well. But it's funny enough. I spent this entire week. I was down in Palm Beach, and I was actually hanging out with a good friend of mine, Mitch Apple, who is a trainer. He trains 107. And he basically preps pilots to take the 107. So he takes them through a soup to nuts class. And I mean, he's super knowledgeable about all the rules. And he was like, hey man, I saw a couple of your videos, but there's, I think you got a couple of misconceptions on things out there. But I was getting a chance to talk to him, and he was like clearing up a lot of stuff, a lot of questions I had. So I'm going to bring him on this stream one day, and he's going to go over some of the biggest misconceptions like that people perceive from the FAA. And I think it's going to blow your minds. It's going to be absolutely awesome. He's a wealth of knowledge, and just, I was like shocked. I was sitting there. I was like, sort of like, damn, I got to sort of I'm just going to start checking with him on things before I say something in a video, because if it's a rule, this guy knows it, and it's so cool. So cool. So I'm excited to bring him on the show. Did I see Jeff Sills come through here? Let me scroll up here. I could have sworn I saw somebody say Jeff was in the house. Maybe. Is Jas Ariel Jeff? Is that Jeff? Jas is Jeff. Okay, that makes sense. What's up, Jeff? I always wondered, Jas Ariel. I wondered who that was. I always see it, but I didn't know that was Jeff. So that would make sense. Good stuff, man. Good to see you, man. Thanks for stopping by on Friday. I know probably everybody's got like a million better things to do, but I figure what the hell? We'll have a live stream, have a little conversation. It's always nice. It's sometimes better than doing a video, because when I do a video, it's so lopsided. I can only respond to comments after the fact, and it doesn't feel quite as personal. So this to me, I like live streaming. I just don't do it often enough because of travel and everything. And trying to do this on the road is really bad. The hotel I was at this weekend had decent Wi-Fi, but the acoustics in the room was terrible. Hey, what's going on, Roscoe's Drone Zone? Thanks for stopping by. Oz by Drone, stopping by. Thank you so much, sir. Good afternoon to you too. It's 10, almost 11 o'clock here. We're not ranting tonight, so we're already off to a great start. We're not going to repeat that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, man, it's been a work in progress. This is the second rendition of the studio. So I ripped everything out again. I put a new table in here. So you guys remember I used to have that wood table back here. So now the wood table's gone. So I have a black table now. I feel like the black allows me to like show things a little bit easier. The wood would get a really bad glare. So I put this table here. It also lets me bring it closer away from the wall, so there's a little bit of separation. And I can also keep everything up and ready to go, so I can be able to shoot at a moment's notice. And then I have a boom. Like this boom won't hit me in the face ever, because it's like I can adjust it. So if I want to pull it back, I can pull it back, and I can it's all adjustable. So it's much better than what I had beforehand. So I really like this studio setup. So it's just, and I have more room. It's not so cluttered. I've been trying to declutter things, but seemingly, I keep finding myself ending up with more and more gimbals. And eventually I'm going to have just like a yard sale of gimbals eventually, because I don't need any more. Definitely not. All right, let me get caught up on this chat here one more time. You like this better somewhere down the road? Yeah, I think so too, man. What's going on, Half Chrome? Good to see you, sir. Or sirs, depending on who's on the other end there. Jody's stopping by. Dave Miller, what's the reason? What's the reason for one remote with two of the same drones? What's the reason? Honestly, I had two controllers at one point, but somebody needed a controller, and I gave them the controller because their controller broke. They did something stupid. They plugged the USB port in backwards, and I just honestly, I've been using the Mavic 2 Pro so much, I never even thought about it. And anytime I need to use the other drone, I just swap it over with the smart controller because in the software, it's so easy to switch around. I've never even been hindered by it. So it really hasn't bothered me. But I definitely need to rectify that situation and have a backup. I'm going to do that. Whoa, thank you, Bill. I'm going to buy that cup of coffee, man. I went to go to Starbucks today, and they were like, "We're sorry, we're under construction." I was like, "Damn!" So I had to go to Dunkin', but it wasn't bad. Wasn't bad. Dunkin's honestly not bad. Coffee is coffee at this point for me. I'm just been crazy. Moser Air 2 for the win, dude. I am loving the Ronins. I've got two Ronin SE sitting here, and I freaking love these things. Like this little guy. This little guy finally bit the bullet and put a focus wheel on this guy, and it is awesome. This focus wheel is so good. So I can like get that really fine-tuned focus in the houses. It just makes it easier. And this whole setup is like pretty light. It's still lighter than the Ronin S. The Ronin S was too heavy. Big fan of the SC. I think it's like probably right now it's the best gimbal I've ever used to date. It's the best gimbal. And for the price to performance ratio, it's sick. No way, dude. Nah. Moser Air 2. I've got a Moser Air 2 coming from Gudson. I'm telling you, from people I've talked to, dude, that gimbal's if you're running a lightweight setup, I can turn it on and it already mirrors my movements. The algorithm is so sick on that thing. It's so fast. And that's after trying Fayutech's offerings, Moser's offerings, and a few other like Pair Gears offerings. DJI definitely nailed it with the Ronin SC. Whatever that new firmware is that they have is crazy good. It's just insane. That focus wheel needs a little bit of work. It's a little too sensitive, but it's not too bad. DJI Go 4 still crashes on opening with the Pixel. Honestly, I would try to clear your cache on the Pixel. I know on Android, like sometimes I haven't had a problem with this, but I had one issue where the app completely locked up and the only thing I could do was clear the cache on the app, like just clear the cache out, and then it was fine. But I noticed with Android, it seems that it has a hard time purging cache. Like on iOS, it'll automatically when it gets to a certain point, it'll purge it so you have room. But what I've noticed with this one, it doesn't do it automatically. I usually clear the cache and then I force stop it. Don't just like kill the app because that doesn't stop all the processes. Android has a crazy amount of processes running, so unless you hit force stop, that will do it. But that usually does fix it for a while. It'll come back, but at least you know what to fix it with next time. So give it a go. Yeah, the Mavic Air can get pretty solid images. I haven't flown a Mavic Air in a long time. That Wi-Fi just doesn't do it for me. Just it kills me every single time. I'm so spoiled by OcuSync. OcuSync just absolutely spoils me. The only time I'll fly with like Wi-Fi is if I'm flying with the Evo, because that's all you get. That's all you get with it. It sort of sucks that you don't get something better, but I mean, it's doing okay. Pixel 3 is junk. So many issues. Yeah, I've heard that. I avoided the Pixel. Every time I go to Android phones, I end up right back to iOS. I have gone to Android probably a handful of times in the past year. Every single time I come running back to iOS. It's the operating system is a bit more mature, I guess the best way to put it. A lot of people love Android. A lot of people absolutely adore Android, and I get it. There's a lot of customization and things you can and can't do with Android that you could totally do with with that. But I mean, I don't know. I just feel like the OEMs ruin it, totally ruin it. Ever use the Sony RX2? I have a friend of mine that has it. It's nice, but the only problem I have with it is that there is no autofocus. So when you're framing yourself up and you're looking at yourself in the little flip screen, you have to make sure you're in focus and then start filming. There's no active autofocus, which I think that's weird. Like you would think there would be, at least if you're not going to put active autofocus in it, just set the focus to infinity, like action cameras, but without that warp in it. I don't know. But the camera takes amazing images and it's great for its size, and the battery lasts for quite a while. My favorite action camera right now is the Osmo Action. I think the color science on the Action is amazing. So that video we did where we were using the ROV, about half of the clips were from the Sony a6400 and half of the clips were from the Osmo Action. And I bet you many people can't really tell which clips were which. The thumbnail was the Osmo Action. We were in the water, and Jake, he didn't even. That was actually a screen grab from the video. I just found a really awesome frame and I snapped it. It's pretty damn good. I like that. Look at this. I'm trying to get the Spot Finder app. Yeah, I've been so lazy about the Spot Finder app. So there's this application. Let me pull it up here because I have been messing with it. I haven't been neglecting it, but there's this application right here. I don't know if you guys can see it, so I'll pull it in closer. Anyways, it's called Spot Finder, and basically you open it up and you can discover places to fly. Like if you fly somewhere cool, you could. Did it just crash? No, it didn't crash. So I can add a spot. Well, I don't want to do that. I'll zoom out. So let me zoom all the way out of the app. So you see this right here? You can click on locations. Like see these little spots right here? These are locations where somebody put in a flight. I'm going to click on one. Let me zoom in. Okay. So like somebody put like this park was a cool place to fly. So it makes finding locations fun. So it's called Spot Finder. I've been loading in places where I flew. Now I'm trying to load it with like actual photos of where I flew. So that way, if somebody wants to go back behind me and be like, I want to fly that spot, they can go there and they're using this Spot Finder app. So it's pretty cool. It's sort of social. And then it tells you like, you can navigate to it and it'll tell you what type of terrain or what you're looking at. So like in this case, this place is forest, trees. Seems like there's a lot of stuff in Tennessee and just around Atlanta. What is this one? This one is so this one says this is a vacant building. So it tells you what the building is. So a lot of it's for FPV I've seen, but it's still pretty cool. So I'm going to try to start loading up my favorite spots on Spot Finder. So I would encourage you guys to check out the application and download it. And if you fly somewhere cool, put your spot out there and like take photos from like, that you've taken at that location, load them into Spot Finder so somebody else doesn't have the same hard time to find a cool spot to fly. That's the hardest thing to do, is to find a cool spot to fly or fly something different. Anamorphic, that would be cool, man. RX2 anamorphic lens, that would be dope. I'd like to get an anamorphic lens for the Mavic 2. I'm still thinking, like I'm contemplating going back and forth. Chris, let me tell you what it is. It's weird. It's spelled funny too. It's not spelled how it sounds. It's spelled SPOTFINDR. Yeah, Spot Finder without the E. It's weird. I'm sure you can use Google Maps, but you're gonna have to download like Google dependencies to make maps work. I don't think you can switch over. Yeah, Mapbox is sort of weak, but I don't think Google Maps is going to work quite that well. What's up, James Simmons? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I've never been able to get anything from the Google Play Store capable to work on this, sadly. Can I use GPS on the Mavic Pro to follow my boat, but out in front of it? Yeah, you can just use active track, man. You can use that. I don't even know. I'm just gonna call you now. I don't even want to try to go through that. I'm sort of still buzzed, but you can just use active track. You don't even have to use GPS. You can just use active track, draw a square around your boat, and you can have it to where the Mavic will follow like from the front of it. That's probably more reliable than trying to use GPS. I wouldn't trust GPS, especially out on the water. I would use active track. That's just me personally, or try to just do it manually. But you don't want the boat in the I don't want the boat in the frame. I don't know, man. I fly manually so much that I'd try. I mean, you could have it track you. It's just going to be harder though. I mean, it should. I don't know. Every time I've ever tried that, I've always been way off. What's going on? What's up, Prosser? Thanks for popping in, man. Always good to see front page tech around. You can try GPS. I just don't trust GPS over the water. I know I've had some crazy close calls using GPS over water, things that have made me just say, yeah, I'm probably not going to do that again because I may not come back off this boat with my drone again. I just may not. So I don't know. I like to fly manual. I'm going to make a shirt just that says fly manual. Just that's my recommendation, especially over the water. We got some crazy shots on the water. All those tracking shots in our latest video was done manually because I just don't trust like automated features, and especially over water. I want to be in full control 100%. I am using the Logitech Brio right now. I am using the Brio. It's a pretty solid camera. It does decent. I just noticed you got to keep the light, like diffract it, like just keep it away from it because it gets all goofy. I suggest the follow me mode. Yeah, but he doesn't want the boat in the frame, he said. So I don't know. I'd fly manual, to be quite honest. Yeah, it is a pretty wide shot. You can change the framing, like you can go in and out with it, but with StreamYard, you can't actually adjust any of the settings on the camera, which sort of sucks. That's the only thing I wish they would let you do is adjust that. I was going to try streaming with the 6500, but it's such a pain in the neck to set it up. This is just so convenient. And sort of the way I have everything set up, it just makes sense. Plus two, eventually at some point, the 6500 would probably overheat. And you can only stream in 720p with this, which I guess that's more than plenty. How much do I think the new DJI Mavic, the smaller Mavic's going to be? I don't know. I mean, I don't want to really speculate on it because nothing else has really come up. I mean, people have said, anywhere from $399, $499. We got to account for the tariffs that are going to be taking place. I believe that's going to be like 10% or something like that. So, okay, full disclosure, I want to use it in front of the boat to spot fish to catch. Where are you fishing? Are you fishing out in the Gulf? Are you fishing out in the Atlantic? Like, are you fishing for, you flats fishing? Like that would be my thing. I would just have your home point. This is me personally. If you're going to do it like that, I would fly manually. I would fly it manually, and I would have it to where your home point is dynamic. So it's going to always update to your controller just in case if the battery runs low. Okay. Cobia fishing. All right. Okay. So we have cobia down here as well. So they're pretty shallow and they usually follow after like the manatees down here. Anytime there's a manatee, sure enough, there's a cobia coming behind it because they always stir up the bottom. So that's what the cobia love. They love waiting for all that debris to stir up. I would probably fly manual and just set your dynamic home point. I mean, it's not going to track you. It's not going to track in front of you GPS wise. It's just not. Now, if you're using active track or something, yeah, it'll track and you can actually set it facing down, but it's probably not going to be what you want. You're going to have to fly You're gonna have to fly manual on that one, bro. You think DJI is trying to work out something for its US production line now? They are, but it's going to be more commercial related. We're seeing them set the foundation for the commercial side. There's a lot of money in commercial drones right now. Like there's just inherently a lot of money in commercial drones. So they're going to set that foundation first, I think, before they'll push anything consumer related. Because I think they realize like if they put a drone out that's pretty cheap, they will, consumers will probably buy. I've tried FPV. I failed at it miserably, and that was that. I actually gave my FPV drone away to a friend of mine. I never even got it fully built. I put a receiver in there. I started getting it ready. I got some batteries for it, and then I gave it away. There's a guy that lives close to me. He's got a channel called Accelerated Heights, and he started getting into FPV. So I may try to link up with him. I know he's got a couple of drones, and he's been crashing them here and there. So I will probably have him show me the ropes. But I know like FPV is not for everybody, just because sometimes the goggle, you just can get a little disoriented. But I'll have to try it out. I have to put more time into it, put it that way. Let's see what we got going on here. Yeah, it's an entirely different skill set. Like camera drone to FPV, it's entirely different. I inspect. I'm so glad you're That's me too, Jimmy. Me too. I'm glad I'm clothed too. Oh, my wife is too. Well, I think crashing is part of the fun. Like you got to learn how to break it so you can fix it, right? It's sort of like Batman. You fall to get back up. Like, right? That's part of the fun. I tried at Spin Up last year. Ed gave me his goggles and he's like, here, try it out. And I'm like, and it was just a little tiny whoop. And I about put it into the ceiling. So definitely takes some finesse. I'm going to give it a go again this year. I was contemplating on whether or not I was going to actually go to Spin Up, because the weekend after Spin Up is the commercial UAV expo. And I was like, I can't go. I was like, I'm not going to go to both. I'm like, I can't do it. I physically can't do it. It's a lot of travel, time, and money. So then I finally decided that I'm going to go to Spin Up, and then I'm still going to go to commercial UAV. I found a way I can do it. So I'm just going to do both of them. I mean, I think both of them are really important, great events, and I'll get a lot out of going to commercial UAV, being able to talk to some of the vendors and see some of the products that are out there. So I'm definitely going to be going out there. And yeah, but I'll be at Spin Up 100%. I've decided that that's the right move, is to be able to go hang out with everybody, fly. I'm all about going flying like downtown Austin, and just seeing some of the sights. Supposedly there is a bridge where there's like a bunch of bats. I thought that would be pretty cool to catch at dark. So I want to see all these bats. Like supposedly there is a lot of bats that live under this bridge. So I really want to see that. I didn't get a chance to really tour the city too much last time. I was really super tired. Wait, paid missions. Do they actually have paid missions? Drone Up? I haven't tried Drone Up at all. Rich, what's going on, man? Nice to see you. And hello, Ethan Mitchell. Good to see you, man. Thanks for swinging in tonight. Well, this is actually pretty cool. I can actually hide things and show messages. That's pretty cool. It's almost like vMix a little bit, how they have this, but way more intuitive. You're learning FPV too. Nice, man. You'll have to tell me how that goes, because like I've not dabbled with it at all. I want to. I always see this commercial for getfpv.com, and they have some of the craziest intros. Dobo After Dark. Think about what it means. Dobo After Dark is dad. If you just put it's just dad. DAD. Dobo After Dark. It's patent pending. So it was a last minute thought. I was trying to think of a good name to call my stream. So that's I think I'm going to stick with this. Dobo After Dark. We went to a hibachi grill and I drank way too much. Oh, I didn't drink sake. They squirt the sake into your mouth. So I guess that's free. Drone Up is like drone base, database semi. Like, here's my deal with like drone base and Drone Up. I don't know about the missions. Like, I don't understand like how it's wine, Eddie. I'm just not really sure about like the payments. Like, I like to be in full control over the money that's being sent and like to negotiate. And the problem with these websites that pay you like Drone Up and like even Droners.io, somebody's taking a piece of that pie and they're paying you way less than you probably should be just to be able to get that into your hands. Just personally think that's like they're taking advantage of pilots, but that's just my 2 cents. I stay away from them. I rather market like elsewhere, like do grassroots. I mean, it takes a lot of time, takes some patience to get people to start using you. Fujiyama, man. I went to Fujiyama, not Wasabi, Fujiyama. Fujiyama is really good. It's really good. You know, they go crazy with the sake. I saw John Coopy in here. What's going on, John? Congratulations, man, on that, on your 3,000 subscribers, man. That is awesome. Locker to get my P4 and flying throttle. Yeah, I will not mess with that whatsoever. Yeah, I mean, some of them are taking like 30 to 40% of a cut of what they should be paying you, which is crazy because you're risking your drone and they're just providing you a mission. Like, that's, I don't know. To me, and I've heard people not paid on things. So I would just stay away from those things. 100% stay away from them. There's better ways to get jobs. I just think sometimes people like they want to do this and they want to make money. So they sign up with these applications and they can totally do all of this themselves. They just don't, because they get discouraged because people don't like use them. I don't know. You'll find the right people. You'll find the realtors that want to use you. You'll find the people that need drones in their business. And once you find a few people, word of mouth spreads. And then I wouldn't say it's easy, but it's easier. It's less discouraging, if that makes sense. Thanks, Bill. Yeah. Oh, have you guys checked out the podcast? We've been launching episodes. There was one episode I dropped the ball. That was my bad. That I thought I uploaded the audio and I was traveling the next day. I was going to Palm Beach, and apparently in the process of me uploading the audio that night, internet went down. They were doing maintenance. I came into my office the next morning, just assuming the audio was there, shut down the computer, drove to Palm Beach, and I get a message from Billy like, yo, where's your audio? And I'm like, well, I uploaded your audio. My audio should be there. He's like, no, it's not there. And I'm like, crap. So yeah. So we made it, we made it into episode number 9. It still worked out. You're 11 away from 14,000. It was 10 away. It was 10 away. But yeah, I'm stoked, man. 14,000. That's crazy. That's an insane number. I never could even fathom this in like a million years. It's crazy. It's awesome. I'm super stoked. That was a fast 1,000 too, because I started out the month and it just blew by. That was quick. So I appreciate everybody's support and continuing to watch the videos and hang out and chill. You guys have all been awesome. And we're only just getting started. That's for certain. Only just getting started with all this. Hey, Bill, have a great night, man. Thanks for stopping in. Ken, are you going to build any CineWhoop? John, I'll tell you what, man. If we can ever link up and I will get all the parts and you help me build it, we'll build it and fly it. Like, I need somebody's expertise to build these. Like, I want to sit down and actually build it, but I need to understand like the mechanics of it all to make it work. So that way, when I break things, I can put them back together. That's my biggest fear with FPV, is that I'm going to break things and not be able to put them back together. I'm interested in FPV, but I just want to make sure that I can keep using it. Sent you a job in Class B right at the end of the runway. Yeah, no. That's going to be a no for me. Droners IO, yeah. Screw that. I've had agents call me and they're like, "Oh, hey, I've got this property. I just need exterior photos shot, and I'll look at it before I go to the house, and I'll find out that it's right in Class B, and there's like, you can't even fly. You just cannot fly there. It's like not even 50 feet. It's red on Kitty Hawk. It's absolutely red. So sometimes I don't think they think about it, or they don't think I'm going to check. I don't want to make the news. That's my thing. I'm like, do you guys want to make the news for flying on an airport? I'm like, I don't. No. The best part, first step, is buy a remote and practice in a simulator. That's a good idea. Yeah, I was thinking just get like a small little whoop and just try to rip around. I'm cool. Yeah, I'm gonna get a whoop. I had one. I just didn't give it a full go. I don't think I had it tuned right, and it was just a mess. Yeah, I see a lot of people slowly making their way over. It's fun, like you have a different perspective. Like when you're flying freestyle, you just have a different perspective when you come from a camera drone. So I definitely want to try it. I just didn't give it a solid go the last time. The FPV is the dark side. That's funny. We'll throw that up there. I guess it sort of is the dark side. It's the dark side of drones. It's fun though. It's definitely fun. Do I do any 360 photos in your shoots? I used to do a lot of them, but then agents stopped asking me for them. And when I go in a house, what I usually do first, I'll do all the interior photos first, and then I do the video. And the reason why I say video for the last part is that way I can sort of have an idea of what I want to shoot. Shooting the photos gives me an idea. But what I would do is after the photos, I would walk through with the 360 camera, but they really haven't asked for it, and I haven't pushed it any further. So if they don't ask for it, I'm really not selling it, because it's sort of a pain in the butt to set the camera up. There are some agents that do like that, but I think for the most part, what more do you need? You have a video walkthrough, you have gorgeous photos, and then you do 360. I think there's a certain thing of like overselling something. And I don't know. I think you should leave a little bit to be desired on certain things. But like for new construction or something, I think 360 photos have a certain place. How is some of these FPV getting away with from the FAA? Are they below? So yeah, if you have a spotter, you're good. Here's the reality. And like talking to Mitch, like, and talking about the FAA, like we talk about the FAA like they're like this big bad wolf. They're really not. Like they don't like go out and actively like go after people or prosecute people. That's like, in talking to him, I was thinking like they're actively like going to prosecute people and things like that, but they don't. They just they don't. That's not their MO, which is pretty cool. What's going on, Mr. Technically T? Thanks for stopping by, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, the FAA is not like out to get anybody, which I think that's like was the biggest thing that people think. They believe like there's always going to be somebody out to get them. And I see so many people, FPV not flying with the spotter. And I don't even know if that's actually legal. If you think about it, you're not even, you're supposed to have a visual of your FPV or any drone. You're supposed to still have a visual. The spotter and you have to be in radio communication, or at least in communication. Plus, you have to be able to, as a pilot in command, still have to see the drone. So I don't know. I think there's definitely some gray areas there. The rules need to be defined clearly for the different classes. But yeah, there's a lot of FPV pilots that do some things that are really reckless, but then there's a lot of them that they just genuinely follow the rules to the best of their ability. Oh, Mr. Drone X factor. Oh, Xavier. Jesus. Dude. Oh, I tried watching your videos this past couple of days. They were interesting, man. They were really interesting, dude. I'm still sort of scratching my head as to like the angle you were going for. I mean, I get it, but I don't get it in the same thing. Like I was almost tempted to pay the Patreon just to see it, but I felt like it would be like one of those, I don't know, like a crappy peep show at an adult theater. If I paid the dollar, I probably wouldn't like what I would see, and there's no refund. So um I didn't pay the dollar to see the extra video. So sorry. And that was a terrible analogy, just unfiltered. This is after dark. But yeah, interesting videos, man. I guess you got some cojones putting it out there because I mean, I know you're getting pretty lit up from it, but you know, take it on the chin and move on, I guess, right? What's going on, Mr. Curtis? Thanks for stopping by. It's what, 7 p.m. out there in Seattle, I think. 7, or is it 7 or 10? Either or. I think they have had some of their videos. What? 8:17. What is 8? Oh, 8:17. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock out there. I'm way off. I obviously can't do math at this point. Like I said, Saki. So it's 8 o'clock. Yeah, it's 11 here. It's a pretty tame weekend. We spent the day looking at homes. Do I use NLD? What do I use a NLD? You're talking, yeah, I use Premiere Pro. I thought you were saying which NLD do I use? I use Premiere Pro, if that's what you're asking. Whoa, El Jefe. Dude, man, what's up, man? You didn't have to do that. The dream, yes. I'm stoked, man. I'm just gonna jump into it. You know, I thought about it long and hard, and I think the best thing to do is that you got to just like I just gotta. Oh, no limit drones. I'm sorry. NLD for me is like nonlinear editor. No, I don't use no limit. I don't have a need to use no limit because I don't need to go that far. Like I don't feel like I want to put my drone out of where I can see it because when you're flying cinematically or I'm filming sequences, I'm usually where I can see the drone, because if I have to make a sudden movement and I'm like too close to something, I want to see that. And if my drone goes down, I want to see that. I want to quickly retrieve it. I don't know. I'm not flying in airspaces that are restricting me. +2 with the 107, I can get it unlocked if I need to. Yeah, I'm not. Here the NFC. I don't need an NFC removal. If I'm in an NFC, I'm gonna fly the Evo. Like if I'm in a no fly zone, or an airspace that requires me to use the Evo where I can still unlock it and get approval from the FAA, I'm going to use the Evo. Like that's my go-to. I use the Evo to like sort of, in situations where I can get approval, but DJI is still not going to give me approval. That's where the Evo comes through. That's the responsible thing where you're still going to get approval from the FAA, but you're not going to actually, fly illegally. Yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying, but that's sort of why people do buy the Evo. I'm not saying to buy an Evo so you can, skirt NFZs, but like for me, sometimes I'm trying to film a house and the house is sort of by the airport and I have, I'm allowed 100 feet. I'm allowed 100 feet of altitude. But on my DJI app, DJI is saying, no, you don't get 100 feet. You're getting 50 feet. That's it. And with the lens being as close or narrow as it is, it makes it really hard to film. So with the Evo, it opens up my shot. It makes the property look big and it just works. I don't know. I'm a big fan of that. I don't use the Evo all the time. I used it this past shoot. I did a shoot for a house and it was a really crappy day. Yeah. So John, I was looking at the Xeno a couple of days ago and I was going back and forth. I was like, maybe I should look at it because it's so cheap. and I see like there seems to be a lot of interest in it. I've been going back and forth on it. It's been in my shopping cart on and off. So I may. I won't let me downgrade because I have upgraded to the 400 and DJI blocked it. You know, here's the thing about NLD. If I didn't know any better, they'll find I mean, their business relies on the fact that they're going to be able to unlock these drones and quote unquote route them. So I wouldn't say it's going to be probably too long before they find a workaround or a vulnerability. It's software. It's software. I mean, they'll find a workaround. My Gladius is now permanently living in Boca Raton. I'm waiting for the fee fish to make its way to me again for the second time. Hopefully I don't run anything over with this go around. Yeah, I mean, I would just give them some time on that. I haven't looked into the Skydio, man. I have not looked into the Skydio 2 at all. But I mean, I did see that photo somebody shared where it didn't look like it had a cage. Could look cool. It could look cool. I'll have to investigate more into it and see. But I'm really into these underwater ROVs right now. I'm trying to like find more. Well, thank you, Drone X Factor. Didn't have to do that. You and El Haffy didn't have to do that, by the way. Thank you, man. I'm actually really digging these ROVs. I like the fact that like if you have a body of water, you can just dump it in and there's no restrictions. There's nobody that says you can't do this. And it's sort of neat to see what's underneath the water. Like that's been a fun experimentation. I got some pretty cool shots this past weekend. I got that shark. I found a lot of mackerel, a lot of tuna fish down there. We were 20 miles out and the water was 2,000 feet deep. It's crazy deep. And the tether is only 300 meters or 300 feet, I believe, on the Gladius and the five fish. So so I was taking it down like 65 feet, but we were drifting. So we were ripping line off those things fast. We were ripping line fast, like as fast as we can unravel the line, we were dumping it. It was crazy. But it's so it's so different than flying a drone. Yeah, man, I'm going to be up there. I'm going to be up there again. I'm trying to get up there for the fall. I would like to fly the fall colors whenever that hits New York, but I'm definitely going to make my way up to New York. I'm supposed to go to a wedding, but I'm not going to the wedding. So yeah. So we'll see how that goes. If I go up there and don't visit family this time, I'm sure people will have a conniption. The fall colors are amazing. And in Florida, we don't have fall colors. All we get is we have summer 1, summer 2, and summer 3. And then you maybe get a fall sort of, but it doesn't actually, the leaves just fall off the tree. They're like, screw this. And then it gets cold and then it's back to summer again. So sort of sucks, but I'm definitely going to make my way up north. I'm going to Georgia and we're going to Blue Ridge for Christmas. And then I'm going to try to get up north. I'm going to try to get some more traveling, but it's going to be Austin, then Vegas, then New York. So those are the trips: Austin, Vegas, New York. So we're definitely going to hit up spin up. So if anybody's out there, I'm definitely going to be flying more. I'm going to get in Friday night on the 18th. I'm going to get in probably in the afternoon. I'm going to be bunking with Sean Oz. So him and I are just going to try to fly as much as possible. I plan on killing all batteries while we're in Austin this time, because I felt like we didn't fly a lot the last time. We flew a little bit, but it was really, really late. And then we were all really tired the next day. So my goal is, as soon as I hit the ground, is not hit up In-N-Out Burger right away. I want to like let that mellow, because In-N-Out, that screwed me up. Like that screwed me up. So we're going to not do the In-N-Out Burger that much this time. No In-N-Out Burger this time. Well, no, we'll do In-N-Out, just not as much. We'll give it a breather. But yeah, I'm stoked. Colorado, Ethan, if you're going to Colorado, get with Sean Oz, man. I'm telling you, because he lives out there and he knows all the spots to fly. Definitely check with Sean Oz's channel, because I don't know where in Colorado you're going, but I know for a fact he is the person, he is the expert on that area. 100%. I would definitely, suggest you just sort of check with him, because I mean, he just visited an abandoned mine, I believe, which is pretty cool. And the colors look great out there. And I know Colorado looks beautiful in the fall as well. Thank you, James. Dude, you bought me coffee and then you bought me, you didn't have to do that, dude. You did not have to do that. You guys don't have to do that. I'm just hanging out, chilling with y'all. You don't have to do that. So thank you. It's really awesome of you. All the parks are no fly zones, even the state parks. Are you talking about in Colorado, Jordan? I mean, the best of my knowledge with state parks, you can take off from like a public spot and you can fly over it. You just can't take off and land in the state parks. I mean, it's just like in Florida. You can take off outside of state park. You can fly over the state park, but you just cannot take off or land. Yeah, you just pull off on the side of the road. I mean, that's the move right there. You just got to open Kitty Hawk, make sure you're not in any sort of like national park. I almost made a fatal mistake when I was in the Blue Ridge Mountains the one year. The Appalachian Trail is considered a national park. I almost took off in like on the trail, and I was like, and I opened the Kitty Hawk app and I was like, oh crap, I'm in a national park. So I had to like quickly get in the truck and drive somewhere else. So I always, yeah, the beach, Florida's getting so goofy. I haven't had no problems. There's a lot of beach without condos. If you go to the east coast of Florida, you can fly. Yeah, you can fly in the east coast of Florida. Like there's less condos on that end. I was in Juneau this week, got some great shots. There's this building. What is it? Where is it? I just posted it on Instagram. Crap, battery's dying, but I posted it on Instagram. There was this building. It's called Dobo Towers. Like this thing is crazy. This is in Palm Beach County. It's called Dobo Towers. This is amazing. I love the architecture of that. I prefer Kitty Hawk. I think Kitty Hawk is a better application, Ethan. I just think it's faster and it's easier to understand the airspace in Kitty Hawk. AirMap made good strides, but I just like Kitty Hawk. And I like that in Kitty Hawk, I can put my 107 number in Kitty Hawk. So when I'm getting authorizations, I don't have to enter it again. That's good that Laguna hasn't banned it for 107 pilots. I mean, it's just, they just want to make sure you have, the proper license in it. And if you have to pull any sort of, I guess, permits, you do it. I mean, this is all the beaches over on the East Coast. I love the beaches over there. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm lost on hyperlapses. Can I download from Mavic 2 Pro, or do I have to stitch in flight? The hyperlapse is stitch in flight. If you set up a hyperlapse, it's automatically going to stitch it. So you'll set your points. Matter of fact, I think Blue Eye Visuals was with me when I shot those. When I shot one of the photos of the beach, he was with me. We were out there filming the A-roll for the last video. So every time I go to Palm Beach, him and I are linking up flying. So if there's enough of people that live in South Florida, I will have a meetup flight, and I'll make sure Steve's with us. We'll just go somewhere and fly, because there's a lot of great spots to fly, and we never get kicked out of anywhere. Matter of fact, we go up to the security guards, or we go up if there's like park rangers, and we'll just be like, hey, we're gonna launch our drone. You have any problem with it? They're not big drones. Like, do you have any issues? And a lot of times they don't even say anything. They're like, yeah, no problem, man, whatever. So they like, it's pretty cool. South Florida is awesome for flying until you get closer to Miami or Fort Lauderdale. Then you're screwed. Flying Yep, you were flying the pocket on the getting annoyed with that. I told you got to get that long cable. They have a cable that you can just connect and run it all the way down the pole. I think that's what Josh was doing on that video that he had that. Yeah, Florida on the east coast of Florida, like West Palm Beach to just before Fort Lauderdale, no issue. The only time I've ever had an issue in South Florida is when Trump is in town. If he's in town, forget it, hanging up. You're not flying. As long as he's not in town, you're good. And that's another thing too, is like with the elections coming up, like with this year being an election year or coming up to one, you're going to want to really pay attention to that VIP movement, because even when the president's not in town, you also have to worry about the candidates going from place to place, because they're going to implement a no-fly zone. So you're going to want to pay attention to that movement. It sort of sucks, but you know, certain states, they're more of a hot spot for that to happen than others. This state specifically. Yeah, thanks, Brad. I'm hyped, man. It's a long ways. Like, it's December, but I mean, I've committed to it. I've announced it to them, so they know that, like, I'm going out. I'm just gonna do this full time. What's going on, Mel B? Good to see you, man. Do I think Polar Pro is the best ND filter? I think ND filters are ND filters, to be honest. I don't really think there's like the best ND filter. I think people have personal preferences. I've been using some filters from Sandmark. So Sandmark ND filters is what I've been using lately. I see no difference between the Sandmark ND filters to the Polar Pro ND filters. Just a different name, different glass, but I don't see any difference really. I mean, I just use matter of fact, I literally leave an ND ND filter on. I'm not YouTube full time, but my photography business, I'm gonna be taking that full time, Ethan. Which let me clarify, that is going to inherently open up more time for me to create content. And it's also going to force me to have to work harder. So I have to be more consistent. So you'll start seeing like I have a more consistent schedule than I've had before. And we're talking about December 31st is when I'm looking at doing this. So I'm just going to commit to the hustle of photography and flying. And that's, yeah. So that's what I'm gonna do. I mean, I love my job, but I want to feel like something like it's like a piece of me. I can't explain it, but that's what I'm gonna do. And I think the easiest way to do that is to just jump into it with both feet and just let the chips fall where they may. And we'll see what happens. So that is what I'm gonna do. Let's see. Where is that? Okay, I'm sorry. Making sure my photos are processing. Shot some homes today, so I want to make sure that photos are getting ready to be processed. Yeah, you got to take a leap of faith sometimes. Sometimes you just got to trust in the skill or whatever, and that it's going to all work out. I mean, I've done it before. I mean, from going from job to job. So, I mean, who knows? Maybe they come back and say, hey, just go part-time or something. And I would probably do that just because there would be some little safety net, but I honestly don't think I'll need a safety net. I'm pretty stoked to do what I'm going to do. I think it's going to be a good time and I'm not going to have any problems. I really don't think so anyways. I hope not. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I hear you, Mitch. Sorry. Thanks, Ethan. I really appreciate that, man. I leave my ND8 on the Mavic 2 Pro all the time. Like, it's like I have an ND8 on there all the time. Unless I'm flying at like dusk, then I don't. Do I still own my BMX? No, I haven't, man. I haven't rode in forever, dude. I used to ride a lot. I haven't in a while. I was thinking about buying a bike for a while, but then I realized I'm old and I broke my arm skateboarding. So I was like, I probably shouldn't do that. Which do I recommend for real estate or roofing inspections? It depends on what clients ask you. I've heard some people say that clients will ask for, they want, high resolution 24 megapixel photos. So you really have to determine whether or not your clients need higher resolutions. But if they don't, Mavic 2 Zoom works really well. You could get an Altel Evo. I mean, there's just really any drone works. And then providing that you don't need any thermals or anything. So, I mean, really, they all work really well for just doing inspections. Just doing, like, if you're just doing real estate roofing inspections or whatever, then, really anything would work just fine. But if you're doing just real estate, I did a video on it where I compared 4 different drones, and I think all the photos looked really solid. and nobody really could tell the difference between any of them. So what I've been using for my drone LUTs, if I'm shooting in D-Log M, I use the Phantom LUT, and I'm using the neutral LUT. I either use neutral or Utopia, and I just dial it back a little bit. I dial it back like to 70%. And I may add just a tiny bit of saturation and tweak the exposure. Other than that, I use the Phantom LUT. I think these are the best LUTs you can get on a drone today, is the Phantom LUTs. Osmo Action. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't use ND filters anymore on any action camera that has stability. Hey, what's going on, Mike? There he is. See, that's who I was talking about before when I said that somebody close to me was flying FPV. That's Mike from Accelerated Heights. So I definitely need to get with him so he can show me the ropes. But Ethan, I don't believe in ND filters on action cameras. What I noticed is that if the shutter speed slows down to match the frame rate, you get like this jello warping effect. I can't explain it. I did a video on it and you can slightly see it, but I've seen some footage that gets really bad. Matter of fact, if you look at anybody that uses an Osmo Action in real low light situations, you'll see that effect even more so, because as the light changes, the shutter speed on that action slows down to try to make it brighter, and you can really see the warping effect there. So you got to be really careful. You got to really be careful. Yeah, man, this is there's this company, it's called Grunt Gear. I mean, it's the wrong type of drone. Like if you look at that drone, that's a military drone, but I'm like, Game of Drones, it's sort of cool. Plus two, it supports veterans. So like if you buy a shirt, like their proceeds go to veterans. So in an end result, it's actually a shirt for a really good cause. So, which is pretty hype. No, see, with the Mavic 2 Zoom, you got to be careful. You got to be careful with LUTs. So yes, you can use the Phantom LUT on the Mavic 2 Zoom, and I have, but you're going to want to dial it back even further. So 70% if you're using D-Log M, I would probably dial it back to like 40 or 30% on the Phantom LUT. I shot all that drone footage I shot when we were out on that boat. That was all D-Log M from the Phantom 4 Pro, and that was with the Phantom LUTs. Like we used the Phantom LUTs to get the colors to match across the board, and I think it looked really good. And it didn't add any saturation. I just basically dropped the LUT on there, and it was good to go. It was. I mean, I'm impressed with those LUTs. They're expensive. And I'm not an affiliate in any way of them. I'll find it here. Let me find the link, and I'll paste it in there. They're like $35 for a LUT. You get 5 LUTs. I think you get 5 LUTs. And the maker of it is called Joe Fermolaro. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but it's supposed to emulate the Ari Alexa look. And man, these are literally, I won't shoot or use any other LUT at all for any of my cameras or anything. These are the LUTs I use, because all of the color science, like everything that I've been using lately, is all because of these LUTs here. Now, it's meant for Sony cameras. But that doesn't mean you can't use it on other cameras. And the reason why I like to use these LUTs, especially if you use D-Log M, typically you have to overexpose with D-Log M to get really good results. With these LUTs, you can expose like normal, have a flat exposure, and apply this LUT, and it's magic. It's absolutely magic. Like they are the best color science of any LUT I've ever used. I can't say enough good things about it. So I would highly recommend that you take a look at these. Again, not sponsored by them. It's not an affiliate link by any means. I just went to the website and got it. But I'll periodically search for like colors, because like for me, I love color. I love to express the mood of a video via color. So yeah, I'm really impressed with the overall performance of those LUTs. They're just so good. Such a good looking good looking color. Yeah, I use Lightroom. There's also another software for they call it Capture One. Some people like Capture One. I don't think it's free, but there's a software called Capture One. But what I'll do is I'll bring my photos into Lightroom, and then a lot of times I'll also bring them into Photoshop and I'll stack them. You layer them, and then I paint in exposure. So you paint where the exposure is different. Yes. Yes, I am. I am a LUT slut. Yes, because I have a lot of LUTs. I've spent a lot of money on LUTs to try to find the right ones. I wish I would have found these first, because if I would have found these first, I would have never bought any other LUT. That's how good they are. 100%. 100%. Best I've ever used. But for stills, I don't really use presets for stills. I'm always changing it. I made a preset that I use. Dude, that's a great idea for a that's a great idea. Oh God. I wonder if I would have to like put an asterisk where the U is or something. Nah, I'm gonna make this. I'm making it. Like I'll make like a little 3D cube or something. I'll give credit to Jordan for the shirt. I'll give credit for Jordan. What was it? Run cam, sir. There's a software using for FPV, GoPro, Run Cam, etc. It really cleans it up. I think it's about $200. Maybe from Red Bullet. I've not heard of anything like that. The most I've ever spent on an aftermarket software was Neat Video, but that was to clean noise. But I lost it. I reset this computer. I had to reinstall Windows, and I screwed it up. Yeah, color grading is honestly, color grading is super simple. I mean, I think a lot of people get, really freaked out by color grading. Like they just think, that there's like this, hard thing about it, but it's not hard. I mean, color grading can be so easy. I mean, if you get decent footage, I shot some footage with the Mavic 2 Pro this weekend. Let me see if I can find that SSD. I can show you. I'll show you what these LUTs do. Where did I put that SSD? Where did I put them? What the hell did I do with them? I had 2 SSDs here. Shit. I don't even know what the frick I did with my SSD. That's not good. That's really not good if I can't find those. What the fuck did I do with those? Damn, I had 2 Samsung SSDs full of footage. I'm having a brain fart. I cannot remember what I did with those. Where did I put those? Shit. There was sensitive information on that too. Let's see, maybe I put it in this bag. It's not in that side. This is the point. This is like why I should keep my office cleaner. All right. Sweet. I think I found it. Let me see if I can connect the back of this without blowing everything up. Yes. Got it. Continue without scanning. Let me do, where is the footage I had shot? Transitions, Adobe, soundtrack. Glacier Bokeh, Osmo Action. Yeah, I'll throw some of these on there. And then some drone footage. There we go. I'll just import all this footage into here. I'll show you some like color grading with the Osmo Action. and like decinelike, because decinelike's basically what you're going to find with the Mavic 2 Pro, which shouldn't be anything shocking. All right. Let's do set the frame size. You can't see this yet. All right, I'm going to share my screen here really quickly. How the hell do I do that? What is that? That's not it. Screen share. There it is. Application window. There we go. Okay, so now you guys should be seeing my screen here. But these are some clips I loaded in. These are the Osmo Action clips. And this is all from the boat. So this is right here. This is Osmo Action, Osmo Action. This is the Phantom 4 Pro, Phantom 4 Pro. This is all shot in decinelike. So these are some clips right here shot. It's sort of flat, not really like pretty. But all I do when I come into, oh shit. All I do is when I come into Premiere, I just start off with my clips. So I'll just start off with this clip. So this is the Osmo Action. And I mean, it's shot in decinelike. I'll just let's grab an adjustment layer. Color. Let's do, no. Let's go creative, browse, and I'll go to my YouTube file. It's probably going to crash, I bet. $20. No, didn't crash. So I have a LUTs folder. So these are all the LUTs I have. I have a lot of LUTs, but I like using this. Either Utopia. So that looks a little aggressive there, but watch what happens with this footage as I dial it back. Like right about 40% on this particular clip. We'll say 35% is pretty good. So that looks good like that. Look how much better that looks with this LUT. And if we look at our scopes are all right in check. Like you don't like, these are literally drag and drop. That looks great. Just like that. Like this looks great all the way 100%. Just with the Phantom LUT, dialing it back to about 40%, you can get really great colors. Like that's insane. There's not a LUT on the market that's going to give you this much depth just with a drag and drop. So here's decinelike from the Phantom 4 Pro, and this was the other one. The other clips were shot in 1080. So I'll just bring this over here. This needs a little bit more work, but if we look at Lumetri scopes, a little bit of peak right here. So that's an easy fix. Just draw your highlights down a little bit. Just give it a little bit more depth. Maybe not so much. Pull your shadows down a little bit, and maybe just bump this up to about, oh no, not 400. Gosh, not 200%. We'll say 40%. And maybe you don't have to do that much on this particular one. So you can already see the color shift, and that looks good just like all on its own. So that's my sort of like workflow when it comes to utilizing, you know, color grading, is just honestly these LUTs and just have to tweak them. I have used DaVinci Resolve periodically, but I just never felt like DaVinci was 100% there. I started using Final Cut Pro on the road just because Final Cut is just so much less taxing than Premiere Pro. But when I'm home, I always use Premiere Pro. I just feel like Premiere Pro is just really solid, and it gives me all the utilities I need. So, and I don't really want to have to relearn another editor. I started on Final Cut. So for me, like I could go back to Final Cut full time and be totally fine. Here's another clip, really super simple. Like to be able to keep all the color consistent, it's really easy. Drag and drop, and now my color is consistent. So it's an easy way to match colors from different cameras. So here's 3 different cameras and the color science is relatively similar. Like, again, not the best exposure here, but the color science, again, is pretty similar. And if I bring in, let's go back. We'll go back. Oh, God. Back to there. Bring in that photo, and then bam. Perfect. Yeah, Cine-like is probably my favorite. And you can mask it, but it doesn't work quite as well. I think this just looks great. And I mean, the exposure is a little off in this left corner here. Not really totally happy about that, but you can see I can push Cine-like pretty far, but it's going to break apart. It's not like Mavic 2. And the contrast is a little different. So D-Cine-like from a Mavic 2 Pro, or I should say D-Cine-like from the Phantom 4 Pro to the Osmo Pocket, it's 2 different color profiles. So you got to match them up a little bit. So, I mean, again, like it's just different strokes for different folks when it comes to this. I just found like this color profile looks really good. I mean, it does make skin tones a little orangey. Like, I mean, we're not that tan. I promise you, we're not that tan, but it gives it a very cinematic look. I mean, it looks great. It just looks very cinematic. It looks awesome. No, the Osmo does not possess the computing power to be able to do all that. So yeah, you just gotta know your limits for that. That's I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, honestly, I'm a big proponent of D-Cine-like. I think D-Cine-like looks great. Never had a problem with it, but I did have problems with it breaking up on the Mavic 2 Zoom. For whatever reason, the Mavic 2 Zoom D-Cine-like would break apart really bad. And I never could find a way to go, and skirt that. So, unless I could find a way to skirt that, I don't know. I'll have to figure something out with that. Try a little further, try a little more to see if I can make a better LUT that can, work for that, specific situation. But I thought I had some Mavic 2 D-Cine-like footage somewhere, but apparently not. I don't know where that went. So let me stop that screen share. But yeah, that sort of gives you an idea of my workflow, I guess, when it comes to color grading. I mean, it's not like perfect by any means. I don't pay attention to scope sometimes. Like sometimes I'm just watching like what it looks like. And if it looks good to me, I like it. But some people, like, I know when people are color grading, like professionals, they're always watching their scopes, but sometimes the scope lies to you, I think. So you got to be careful. You got to be careful on that as well. So it's one of those situations where I just try to make the best possible decision. I was trying to find the A6400 footage because that would give you a great idea of like just the way that it color matches footage. Let's see. Let me find. Oh, here we go. I found a clip. I finally found a clip. So let me paste this one to my desktop, and then I'll bring it back in because it's such a big file. Oh, not that. Let me grab a clip I got off the Zoom because I just shot a property with the Zoom too. So I'll bring in 2 different clips and show you the difference between the different footages. So let me go into Apex Imaging. Delbrook. Where did I put it? I know I've got some footage in here from drone video. There it is. This is all raw footage of a house I shot with D-Cine-like. So with this house, I just manually color graded it, but I shot it all in D-Cine-like. but I'll show you like what it looks like when you bring Decinelike in. And yeah, let's do that. Share this window. All right, so you should be seeing my window again. And this is a house I shot. It was sort of a gloomy day, but I shot this all in Decinelike. And this was before I had these LUTs specifically. But I'm going to bring that LUT over. And I'm just going to show you how awesome it looks with this LUT. So with this one, I probably would need to bump it up a little bit more. You can see it can get really extreme, but you can notice, like, let me go maximize on this actually. Let's go 100%. Like, what I want you to pay attention to is the colors in here. You'll see it starts breaking apart. Obviously, this is really extreme when I apply this LUT, but probably about the 30 mark on this is okay. If you go any further with Mavic 2 zoom footage, for some reason, Decinelike will just artifacts really badly. So you got to be really careful about that. That's the only thing I noticed about Decinelike. Again, of course, my sky is completely blown out. But for the most part, that looks pretty good. This clip right here, I can just basically drag and drop this. I mean, I would be okay with this. Other than the exposure is a little off, I would need to watch my scopes. My scopes are way high because I didn't know I was going to use LUTs like this. So I can just drop the exposure just a little bit just to get it down. Drop the shadows just a little bit to give it a little bit more contrast in this shot. And I think that color looks great. Maybe give it a little bit more warmth if I wanted to, because I would think this was like, and you can sort of see, like, just a little bit helps. The idea with the Mavic 2 zoom footage, you want to be just slightly underexposed, but you want to be just above 0. Like, give yourself a good little gap. And I think that itself looks fine. And you can sort of see like the difference in there. So that's Mavic 2. That's Mavic 2 zoom footage. But like with the Mavic 2 Pro, you can push colors so far. And the problem with that is a lot of people don't want to have to do that. A lot of people like Decinelike because this is easy, like one and done. Like if I'm just doing a house, this is quick. If I'm doing Mavic 2 Pro footage, I have to color grade, I have to finesse it a little more, and then I have to add sharpening. Like people will say, oh, do you do post sharpening? And I'll say, yeah, sometimes I'll add a little post sharpening. If it's Mavic 2 zoom footage, what I'll do is I'll just hit this with like 15. And it's just subtle enough to give it a little bit of sharpness. You know, just a little sharpness. So, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I wish you had the option to use Decine on the Mavic 2 Pro, because I would use it a lot. Because if it was 10-bit, it would be ideal, but it's not. It's just, I don't know. Yeah, there is a video on how to swap cameras, and I believe it works. I haven't tried it. I was going to try it again because I heard somebody say that they added software that prevented people from swapping the cameras. And I'll tell you, when I swapped the camera from the Mavic 2 Dual to the Mavic 2 Zoom, that neither one of them worked. Ethan, the Evo is 10-bit, veritable 10-bit. Does that make sense? The Evo is veritable 10-bit. The Evo is veritable 10-bit. That's what they say. They say that it's veritable. They say it's a veritable 10-bit, but I don't know. I don't really believe. I don't know. I mean, I will tell you that if let me see if I have Evo footage to show the difference on the Evo footage. I think I have some Evo footage saved that I did on a house. Let me see. Trying to find it. I thought I had some footage. I'm trying to remember, what house did I shoot Evo on? It's always hard to remember. Florentine, Horizon, Parrot, Claymore. When did I do that? When did I do that house? Delbrook, Wellington, Historic, Essex. Gas Station, Tooney. Jesus, I got to better organize my footage. You know what I did on Jeff's? Let me look at Jeff. Yeah, here we go. I think I've got some Evo footage here. Nope, that's all. That's not Evo footage. Damn, I know I have some Evo footage. Let me look at my historic shoot that I did. Oh yeah, here we go. Here's some footage from the Evo. And these LUTs work on the Evo too. And these LUTs work really well. So the Evo, I think Evo log footage is really hard to work with for somebody who's never shot log before. I'm bringing in a couple of clips now for you guys to see. So first things first, let me make sure these are all set to the correct frame size, because I know when I did these, this specific clip, I don't think it was set to the right frame size. So let's look at this one. So here's a shot. This is a house that I did some months ago, but prime example, you know, a very contrasty situation. This is Evo log, and you can see it's very, very flat. Like this is a prime example. I'm genuinely impressed with the Evo. I like it. A lot of people don't like the Evo, but I think it does pretty good. Like this is all Evo log. And when I had the X Star, I would never shoot Evo log. I was always afraid to, because I felt like the footage was muddy. But with this, I really don't feel like it's muddy. So this is Evo log. And let's go back to here. So let's go to this clip right here. This is a prime example of what dynamic range you can get out of this if you use these Phantom 4 Pro, or these Phantom LUTs. So this is the neutral LUT. And I'm going to dial this. I'm just going to dial this up a little bit, because this LUT is going to want to bring the exposure value higher. So if we look at Lumetri scopes, you'll see it's maxing out the exposure. So check this out. All we have to do is lower the exposure just ever so slightly. Just get it under that mark there. And now we can start tweaking the color around a little bit. And you can see it's giving it already a very cinematic feel. And I can pull this down just a little more. Now, again, keep in mind that this color was meant for a Sony camera. So what I need to do is pull back the intensity. I'll start with 60. Okay, 60 is not there. So we'll start back at 100 for the saturation. And then I'll go back into the creative tab and I'll just slowly dial this back. Like I'm thinking right at about 50% probably looks good with this LUT. So if I like, look at that, just ever so slightly. I mean, that is a great shot and minimal effort. Like here's another shot. The blues look very natural on the Evo. Like it's not, look at the dynamic range. I'm still getting a little bit of depth here in the shadows, but the highlights aren't blown out tremendously. And there's some good contrast. So, I mean, I like the Evo. I think the Evo does great. I love the wide angle lens. The wide angle lens is so good. So good. Here's another hard shot. I got the sun off to the left corner here, house, and I want to make sure everything's properly exposed. So we'll just grab this in here and we'll cut that. And let's see. We'll look at our scopes. Scopes are a little flat. We can probably bring up our exposure a little bit more on this. And I'll bring down my whites. So it's just toying with things. Maybe bring your shadows up a little bit. So you want to try to find that sweet spot, that base, and maybe just give it a little saturation. I mean, it's really relatively pretty easy. This is a bad shot on my part, but it's, you know, it's one of those things like I wish you can preview. Here's what I wish you can do with drones. I wish you can preview a LUT. You can load a LUT to your screen and you can preview it. Now, somebody said on the Inspire 2, you can do that. You can load up a LUT and you can preview it. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't have an Inspire 2 to test, but if it is, that's a game changer, because for me, I like to preview the look of a house before I actually start shooting it. I do the same thing with the Ninja Atmos. I'll burn my images into the Atmos so I can see what I'm going to edit. Like I want to know what the final product's going to be. So for me, that's a game changer. Like I like the Evo. It's really bailed me out of some situations where I need it much more dynamic range, and it definitely delivers. Again, this was a bad shot though. Spectrum grade makes LUTs that are mobile compatible. I've never heard of Spectrum. I'm just a really big fan of these Phantom LUTs because I can make my color science for homes look identical to what I need them to look like. Like I need to be able to match colors in cameras. And that's like, for me, being able to match colors are really important. Like I hate when colors are all mishmashed. And this just lets me take this color, I can match it to the D-Cinelike, or I can match it back to my A6400. Like that's what I need to be able to do. Like here's some shots. Here's a shot we got with the A6400. It's 1080p, so I'll scale it. I'll set the scale size back up. So this is 1080p. And let me grab a LUT. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm taking the Utopia LUT. I'm just going to paste this over the Utopia. And dial that back. And then this is a Sony A6400. I'm going to set this to 100%. And maybe just adjust my exposure just a little bit more. Like if I'm looking at it, it's a little flat. Just give it a little bit more highlight, just a little bit brighter. And maybe take the highlights down a little bit. And then take the shadows down a little bit. So, I mean, that to me looks great. And if I really wanted to, I could probably either give it a little warmer look, a cooler look. I could take the dabber, come into here. That's too much. So I want to, like, but that looks great. That's easy. I love these LUTs. I mean, I usually spend about 30 to 45 seconds per clip and I move on. If I have a house that has like 40 different cuts, I'm going to sit there and color grade every single cut because every single room is going to look different. But then I'll have a base grade that will be like the main grade, and then I'll have the look grade that'll be the last thing I put over it. So this may not be the only adjustment layer that I'm running, just depending on what I'm going for. Like, but when I'm vlogging, I've been shooting my vlogs lately in S-Log too, because I want them to have a specific look. Yeah, I mean, I could import things into LumaFusion if my iPad wasn't dead, but yeah, LumaFusion's the same way. You can use these LUTs into Luma and just dial back the intensity of the LUT. You can get the same thing with LumaFusion. You don't need Premiere Pro. You don't need this, crazy computer to do this. You can do all of this with LumaFusion. It's just a pain in the neck to be able to get the files into LumaFusion. Now with iOS 13, that'll change a bit. It'll be easier. But as of right now, I'm still running iOS 12.4, and it's just a pain in the neck. So I'll have to test it out and try it out later on. But anyways, guys, I know this stream sort of went all over the place. I apologize for that, but I just thought I would share some of this live with you, so you can see my process of color grading live, give an explanation for it. I know, Dan, you asked me what my favorite drone was. I don't really have a favorite. They're like kids, man. I just sort of try to fly them all. But I mean, I do find myself flying the Mavic 2 Pro a lot lately, but I also fly the Zoom a lot lately. So I go back and forth between the two. The Mavic 2 Pro, I'll lump it as the Mavic 2. We'll say the Mavic 2 is probably my favorite. But the Evo is like a definite close second. The Evo is just missing two things that would make me use it 100% of the time. And that's a better transmission signal and fix the freaking yaw from being so overly aggressive. Other than that, I love the Evo. Can't go wrong with it. Yeah, I love color stuff, man. I can definitely talk color a lot. What's going on, Brian? Good to see you, man. I forgot you changed your name. So Mel had told me that you changed the name. So I was like, oh man, it's cool, man. But all right, everybody, that's gonna do it for tonight's stream. Thanks for watching. Sorry it ran so late and long, and if anybody's trying to catch up on all this, but I'll probably unlist this because I'm not gonna leave the streams live. I think I may do highlights of the stream so it's not so long. I may download them and do that. But anyways, talk to you all later. Stay original.